So welcome to my channel guys. So today we are going to start history and civics of standard 7, and here you can see this is the front page of the book, and as you can see we can clearly see Atok here, Delhi, Shivaji Maharaj, Katak, Raigad, Jinji, Tanjore. So we are going to study the entire history and civics of standard 7. So this is a state board, Maharashtra state board book, and we are going to see each and every chapter in this book. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we are going to see first the content of the content of the book. The first is your sources of history, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj, religious synthesis, Maharashtra before the times of Shivaji Maharaj, the foundation of Swaraj, conflict with Mughals, the administration of Swaraj, an ideal ruler, the Maratha War of Independence, the expansion of Maratha power, Marathas, the protector of the nation, progression of the empire, life of people in Maharashtra. So this is a very comprehensive and detailed study, or we can say a book of history that we are given by the government of Maharashtra, and we are going to see the first chapter today, that is sources of history. Now let's get started. So the first chapter is your sources of history. So basically, earlier in standard 6 we have studied ancient history, right? We have studied ancient history. Now we are going to see the medieval period of Indian history. Now what is the medieval period? It is between 9th century to 18th century. So you have to remember that is medieval period is between 9th century to 18th century. Now, in this lesson, we are going to study sources of medieval history. So, the first chapter is basically about sources of the history. So, in this chapter, we are going to see what are the sources which this book or any history is taken from. What are the basically sources from where the book is written, from where we see lot of sources of the history, like a temple is also a source of history. So let's uh, let's see what is next. The history gives us chronological, scientific, and systematic account of the past event. So as you can, as you already know that why history is important, because it gives us scientific and systematic account of past events. Right here, the four factors are very important from the viewpoint of history. So what are the four factors basically? So the four factors are basically individual, society, place, and time. So these are basically four factors which are important. So as you can see, what are the individuals from that point of time? Like you can remember Raja Ram Mohan Roy from uh, for 200 to 300 years back. What was the type of society back then, places, time, so etc. These are basically factors uh, that are very important from the viewpoint of history. Now, history must be based on authentic evidence or proof. So these proofs are known as sources of the history. Right? Basically, what is the source? Source is basically an evidence, right? Authentic evidence or proof, right? Let us classify these sources into material sources, written sources, oral sources. So there are types of sources of history. Like there are some material sources that are found, written sources that are found, oral sources like people speak about history. So from that we can clearly understand what was the period of time that a person is talking about, and what happened at that time, how were the administration of that time was, etc., etc., can be found by these material sources, written sources, as well as oral sources. Now, to learn more about them, let us also evaluate the sources of history. Now, we have to consider many factors relating to the historical event that we want to study, right? So, it is necessary to support our study with historical sources. These sources have been verified. We have to see whether they are authentic. Now, the main important thing is they should be authentic sources, right? authentic survey. It is necessary to use this sources judicially and only after a critical analysis. Forts that have important place among material sources. So what is basically a material source? Material source is basically it is a physical source that we can see, right? Like temple, forts, etc. So here are some major important forts. Some major important types of forts are like hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, forts on the plains. So we have seen a lot of forts uh, at our site visit also. Monuments. What is basically a monument? So monument is basically it includes samadhis, graves, virgala, and building, including palaces, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, that is Rani Vasa, also house of common people. So these are basically monuments. So so these are material sources, right? Material sources consists of all the physical type of sources that are present. Right? Now, as you can see here, physical sources, buildings, memorials, forts, copper plates, coins, inscription, cave sculptures, etc. These come under physical sources. Right? Now, all provide insight about that period. So this is very important. These all provide insights about that period. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture, the economic condition, the quality of art, style of the building construction, and people's standard of living in that particular period. So, because of these evidences, we know the architecture, economic condition, quality of art, style of building construction, and people's standard of living of that particular period. Because of these sources, right? Now this is an exercise. Can you tell how do coins narrate history? So this is a very interesting question. How do the coins from the past narrate the history? And the answer is here itself. Since ancient times, coins like kawadi, damadi, dhela, paisa, pai, ana, and rupee were used. Some local idioms or proverbs are based on coins. For example, "एक फुट की कौड़ी देना नहीं." Here, "फुट की कौड़ी" means the lowest bit of money, right? So these were some of the um, idioms or proverbs that were used in the past, which we can understand that these were the type of proverbs that were used uh, to tell the coin that was prevalent in that period, like kavdi. Kavdi is a basically coin, name of the coin. Sola Ana search. So 100% true. So Ana is basically a coin, a type of coin. So these were Anas and Kavdis were used in ancient times. No. The coins made by different rulers using metal like gold, silver, copper. So different rulers were um, uh, making coins of gold, silver, copper, important sources of history. From these coins, we learn about the rulers. So what kind of a ruler, what kind of period in which gold coins were prevalent, right? The governance of that period, religious ideas of that period. So these can be known by the type of coins that. So this is known as virgala, as you can see in this picture. This is virgala. So what is virgala basically? uh, the paintings are on the stones, right? So as you can see, this is virgala. This is the picture of virgala, a person. Similarly, you also learn about the financial transactions, right? The financial transactions and economic condition prevailing at that time. So this is very important. We learn about the financial transactions and economic condition of that. We also see how far metallurgy, right? Metallurgy. This what is meant by metallurgy? Metallurgy is basically study of metals. study of metals, right? Metallurgy had advanced in that. So when you study the metal, you can make a lot of things out of metal. So we can say that if the kings or the uh, kings of that period were making coins, then they must have known the metallurgy of that coin. So we also see how far metallurgy had advanced in that period, right? From the images of Ram Sita on the coin of Emperor Akbar, right? Shiva Parvati on the coin of Hyder Ali, we see the religious coordination of those days. So, so basically, this is the coin of Hyder Ali. Here you can see the image of Shiva Parvati together, and this is a coin from the period of Peshwa. So, this was the coin of that period. The Peshwas used Arabic or Persian language. As you can see, this is Arabic or Persian language. Right? Peshwas used Arabic or Persian language on their coins. This throws light on the use of language in that period. What kind of a language was used in that period? An inscription is a carving on the stone or wall, etc. For example, the inscription found in Brihadishwar temple premises in Tanjore. So, the Tanjore that is located in Tamil Nadu. Tanjore is located in Tamil Nadu. Here, the Brihadishwar temple is still there. So, there in the Brihadishwar temple, inscriptions are found. So, these inscriptions tell a lot about our events of the past. Many inscriptions of the period of Chalukya, Rashtrakuta, Chola, Yadav kings have been found. So these were the kings of the past, and in their period, the inscriptions of their periods are also found. An inscription is considered to be very important and reliable source of the history. It helps us understand. So basically, it helps us understand features like language, script, social life of the period. Right? Now, inscriptions carved on the sheet of the copper are known as copper plate. Royal edicts, verdicts, etc. are inscribed on copper plates. So chaityas, viharas, temples, churches, mosques, gyaris, dargahs, maqbaras, gurudwaras, monuments, sculptures, vales, minarets, village boundaries, gates, weapons, utensils, ornaments, cloths, decorative articles, toys, implements, musical instruments are all material sources of history. So these are all physical material sources of history. Basically, they still exist today also. So now the second type of source is return source. What is the return source? Return source is basically something which is a return of that period, like uh, like a king farman or uh, a government document that was issued of that period. So these are some things uh, we are going to see. Now, we learn about significant historical events in the medieval period from the sources like writing styles. So, what were the writing styles like Devanagari script, Arabic script, Persian, Modi, etc. As also from the varieties of different languages, Burja Patras, religious manuscripts, treaties, edicts, decree, biographies, maintains, etc. We can gather information about the food items, attire, convictions, and rules of conduct of the people, festivals, and about people's life, etc. From these sources of this type are called as return sources. So, as you can see, this is the return sources like documents of proceedings in the courts of the king, right? Genealogies, Shakavali, correspondence, dispatches, judicial verdicts and orders, treaties, biographies, travelogues of foreign travelers, chronicles, Tavari. So these were some written sources, and now we are going to see some oral sources. Oral sources are basically gatha, folk song, right? folk songs are still prevalent nowadays also. Legends, the stories of the legend, stories, proverbs, povadas, abhangas, slokas, etc. So these are basically oral sources. Oral sources like singing a song, etc., etc. During this period, travelers from other countries came to India. So, so, so remember, travelers from other countries also visited India. So they must have written something about their travel. So that comes also in the written sources. Right? They have written travelogues or accounts of their travel. Some of them are Al Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Niccolo Manucci, Babur's biography, Sri Shiv Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Shivaji Maharaj composed by poet Parmanand, as well as various other biographies of different rulers and their correspondents help us to understand the policies and administrative system of rulers and their diplomatic relations with other rulers. So, as you can see, we can see how the governance of that time actually worked, right, from the written sources also. Now, Tawarik or Tariq means sequence of events. Tawarik written by Al-Puruni, Ziauddin Barani, Maulana Ahmad, Yahya bin Ahmad, Mirza Haider, Bhimsen Saxena, etc. are available. Bhakar is a type of chronicle that originated in Maharashtra. So now this is very important because we are studying basically uh, the state board book. So remember, regarding your state board point of view, this is a very vital information. Bhakar is a type of chronicle that originated in Maharashtra. So this is a chronicle. Remember, chronicle. So what is chronicle? Chronicle helps in understanding aspects like contemporary political happenings. So this is very important. What is chronicle? Basically, chronicle helps in understanding aspects like contemporary political happening, linguistic transaction, cultural life, social condition, etc. So chronicle is basically a big type of a book that is written, and in that chronicle, lot of things like political happenings, linguistic transaction, cultural rights, social conditions were also written. Many of the chronicles in Marathi were written many years after the event had occurred. Right? They were written in Marathi. As a result, they are seen to rely on hearsays. Hearsays basically, you hear something of the past, so on that basis you write something, and that is your hearsays. Some of these chronicles are Maha Mahikawatichi Bhakar, Sabasad Bhakar, Jitnesachi Bhakar, Hausaabji Bhakar, etc. The works of the contemporary Western historians like Robert R. M. C. Spiegel and Grant Duff are also important. Now, this is an exercise. Do this. Make a collective collection of Povadas, tribal songs. Present them in the cultural program arranged in your school. So it is very easy to make and very easy activity. And now the next, that is oral sources. We understand various aspects of folk life through folk literature, traditionally passed on from generation to generation. Some example are horses, folk song, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myth. Such type of sources are called oral sources. So these are basically oral sources, right? Oral sources. History is written with the help of three types of sources mentioned above. So what are the three types of sources? Basically, written sources, right? Material sources and oral sources. Even after it has been written down, research on it goes on continuously. New sources and information come to light through this research. Then history has to be rewritten accordingly. We can see that our history books and those of our parents and grandparents differ to a certain extent, right? Now, mm, there is activity here. Do you know the Povada of Tanaji? Given below is an extract from Povada composed by Tulsidas Sahir. He portrays the Kondhana campaign in it. The Povada contains beautiful character sketches of Tanaji, Shalar Mama, Shivaji Maharaj, Veer Mata, Jijabai, etc. So this is basically Povada. As you can see, this you can read it. This is a Povada from the time of Kondhana campaign, and this is a portrayal of how the Kondhana campaign was carried out. And the important characters from the Kondhana campaign are Tanaji, Shalar Mama, Shivaji Maharaj, Veer Mata Jijabai, etc. So here is another activity. Say your say. Suggest measures for preserving sources of history. So what are the sources? Like you can use museum to prevent sources of history. You can use a specialized lab to store some extremely important written documents, material sources, etc. Uh, like for material sources, like temples are already preserved. Some are destroyed also, but some are preserved. And maintenance of those material sources are very important. Now, evaluating the sources of history, it is necessary to take certain precautions. So, it is necessary to take certain precautions before using these sources of history. We have to examine their authenticity. So, this is very important. Authenticity of the sources is very, very important, because then only it is considered as a source, proper source, and see which are genuine and which are fake. So, lot of the fake sources are also there. Their quality can be determined with the help of internal standards. Now, what is this internal standard? We also have to study the integrity of the writers, their personal interest, the period in which they live, and the political pressure on them. So obviously, the person who is writing those historical documents, which we refer to as a source, we must know what kind of a political pressure was on them, or what kind of personal interest uh, they had. So these are also important factors. And it is also important to see whether they rely on hearsay or give an eyewitness. So whether they were relying on the hearsay of that period or eyewitness account. We need to consider the exaggeration, metaphor, and other literary devices they use. Their information has to be verified with the help of other contemporary sources. The information may be one-sided. So this is also very important. Information can be one-sided, contradictory, and exaggerated. So basically, when we are referring to something as a source, we must know that a detailed study is needed into that source of what kind of a bias the author had, or what kind of a political orientation he had. Is he exaggerating something, like बढ़ा चढ़ा के बता देना, and all these things. It has to be seen in a proper perspective. No? So it has to be seen in a proper perspective. The sources have to be subjected to critical analysis. Now this is also important. So the writer is saying there should be a critical analysis of sources also. The author's impartiality and neutrality, these are very important in writing history. Right? So this is the end of this chapter. First, sources of history. This is basically exercise, and very basic exercise. Explain the like questions like explain the following concept, material sources, written sources, oral sources, and you can write some of the notes like what do monuments include, what is tariq. Tariq is basically sequence of events, what qualities of author are important in writing history. So he should be impartial, neutral, etc. etc. Odd man out are very easy activity. Visit any museum that is nearby, gather information about the sources of history from the period that you are studying and record it in your activity book. So this is basically the first chapter.